So in this video, I'm going to be taking you through the PMP practice questions. So these are the practice questions which I've also created. However, my extra effort was to link these specific practice questions to pages or sections in the PMBOK edition 8, where you can also go and make reference in case there's some weak areas you've discovered as you practice. You can also make reference to the PMBOK, and then you can also get some explanations. As we go through the practice questions, we will start with the question, and then I'll also reveal the answer, and I'll also explain why a certain answer is the best as compared to the other three. Remember, you're going to have four options to choose from in terms of answers, and therefore out of these four you're supposed to choose one. In most cases you'll find that if you have the right mindset, or you know the right mindset, you're going to eliminate two of them. You're only going to be left with two. Then out of these two, you can still apply the mindset, or maybe you can also look at the question, try to understand which one is going to resolve the problem, or which one is actually going to answer the question. Then I also give you a reference in the PMBOK edition 8, where you can also further expand your knowledge in terms of the either domain or in terms of process groups and so on and so forth. So as you plan to take your PMP exam, you are normally expected to have gone through these practice questions, or maybe you might go through the simulator. There are so many simulators that you can get for PMP exam online. Some of them they have commercials you have to pay, but these practice questions, they also help you to eliminate some of the answers that probably you're going to get in your exam. So these are just practice questions which you can go through and then maybe apply the same knowledge in your exam room. So let's get started. So practice question number 1. A stakeholder is confused about project objectives during initiation. What should the project manager do first? Okay. So the important point here is, what should the project manager do first? Okay. So I consider this question in terms of difficulty to be a bit on the easy side, because a stakeholder is confused about the project objective during initiation. What should the project manager do first? Number 1, ask the stakeholder to wait until execution begins. So by way of the right mindset, if you see something to do with wait, it means you're delaying the project. So that makes this option not the good answer. Number B, clarify the objective and confirm alignment with the stakeholder. This one makes sense. Remove the stakeholder from the communication list. You don't just go and remove stakeholders from communication list because they are confused about project objectives. So this makes this answer incorrect. Okay. Escalate the confusion to the steering committee. The responsibility of the project manager is to manage the project on a day-to-day basis. So escalation is the last option. And in this case, you have not yet even engaged the stakeholder, and therefore you cannot just go straight into escalation. So that makes B the correct answer. So B is the correct answer. Clarify the objective and confirm alignment with the stakeholder. So what helps us to answer the question on B, if you go to PMBOK edition 8, you're going to find that there's a stakeholder performance domain on page 67 up to 78. So you can also use that for your additional reading. So what does it say? It says a stakeholder domain emphasizes, identifying stakeholders, planning engagement, communication, managing engagement, and also monitoring. So this is what you get from the PMBOK. So as a practice question, this is also very important to make reference to the PMBOK, which is going to be the book that we use throughout. So what is the mindset that we can use, or that was used to eliminate here? Clarity before escalation, engage stakeholders early. So this is the mindset. So it makes B the best answer, because early stakeholder engagement prevents misunderstanding and also supports alignment before work advances. So we have answered this question. We have made reference to the PMBOK pages, and what does it state, which is also here. And we have also applied a mindset, okay, to answer this question. So B is the correct answer. Practice question number 2. The team is unsure which development approach is best because requirements are still emerging. What should the project manager do? So what is happening here? The team is unsure because the development approach, they're unsure which development approach is best because the requirements are still coming in. So they are still receiving requirements. What should the project manager do? So here, there's no first, but what should the project manager do? Okay, so let's go to the answers. Number 1, select a predictive approach because it is always more controlled. Okay, but if the requirements are still coming in, most likely this is not a predictive approach. So we leave this one for now. Tailor the approach based on uncertainty, deliverables, okay, uncertainty, deliverables, and organizational context, okay. This looks good. Delay the project until the requirements are fully known. Never delay a project, a mindset. This is a very good mindset. Never delay a project. So this one, I'm going to eliminate it straight away. Ask the sponsor to choose without team input. The sponsor and the project manager, they are not subject matter experts. So the team is the one which is supposed to choose, not the sponsor, making this an incorrect answer. So now we are left with 2 options. We have the tailor approach and also select a predictive. So since the requirements are still coming in, this is likely going to be predictive. This is going to be agile. So we eliminate this one, making B the best answer in this scenario. So B is our best answer. So now let us go through what can we reference from the PMBOK pages. Okay. So if you go to PMBOK page, you go to tailoring on page 103 to 112. What does it say? It says tailoring adapts the development approach, processes, engagement, and also project management practice to the organization, also project context. So what is the mindset that we're applying here? We're applying tailor the method to the context instead of forcing approach. So this is always a good practice. In practice, always tailor every approach based on the project context, not just because it has been written somewhere or it was said by someone somewhere. So that makes B the best answer because uncertainty and changing requirements call for tailoring, not default or sponsor only decision. Okay. So this makes B the best answer. Practice question number 3. A customer asks why the project is important to the organization. What should the project manager emphasize? Okay. So I consider the difficulty here to be easy. A customer is asking why the project is important to the organization. So what is the project manager supposed to emphasize? So number A, the number of sponsors, the number of reports the project will produce. I don't know how this is going to explain to the customer why the project is very important. Number B, the project value, outcomes, and expected benefits. This makes sense. The internal project management software being used. This does not explain to the customer why the project is very important. So definitely we're going to eliminate this one. The personal preferences of the project sponsor. Projects are not done because of project sponsor personal preferences. They are done to add value to the organization. So eliminating this one, making B the best answer in this scenario. So what the project manager is supposed to emphasize is the project value. Okay, this is very important. The project outcome and expected benefits. So once this is explained to the customer, they should be able to understand why the project is being undertaken. So what are we referencing in our PMBOK? We are referencing page 40 to 42, which says you should focus on value, okay? The focus on value, which is here, value principle emphasizes decisions that protect intended outcomes, benefits, and stakeholder value, okay? Stakeholder value, rather than simply producing some outputs. So what mindset should we apply here, okay? Always connect project work to value and outcome. So this is a very important mindset to consider here. Making B the best answer because PMP thinking focuses on value delivery and benefits, not just documents and internal activity. Making B the best answer. Practice question number 4. And also the difficulty is considered to be easy here. A deliverable is finished and needs customer acceptance. What should the project manager use? Okay. A deliverable is finished and needs customer acceptance, which means you've finished the deliverable. Now we want the customer to accept. What should the project manager use? Okay. A, validate the deliverable with appropriate stakeholder, okay, for acceptance. B, start the next deliverable without review. Okay, so this obviously can be eliminated. You cannot start the next deliverable without review of the customer. So we can eliminate this one straight away. Ask the team to decide whether the customer will like it. The team cannot decide. There must be some acceptance criteria from the client, not for the team to decide, making this eliminated as an answer. Close the project immediately. You don't close the project because there's an acceptance that has to be done by the customer, making this one eliminated, making A the best answer in this scenario. So A is the best answer. Validate the deliverable with the appropriate stakeholder for acceptance. So that makes sense. So what is now our reference in our PMBOK? We go to page 35 to 46, where we are saying scope performance domain. So the scope domain covers the requirements, scope definition, structure, scope monitoring, and also validation. So what is the mindset that is applicable also in this scenario? You need to validate complete work with the right stakeholders. This is very important. If you need your deliverable to be accepted, then you must go to the right stakeholders so that they can validate the work. Making A the best answer because scope validation confirms that completed deliverables, they meet acceptance criteria before moving on. So B, the best answer. Sorry, A, the best answer in this scenario. Okay, practice question number 5. A team member is blocked by dependents owned by another team. Okay, what should the project manager do first? This is very important. So the difficulty here is also classified as easy. So the best thing now is to be able to understand the problem statement. The team member is blocked. So this is the problem because there's a dependence on another team. So the problem is the team member is supposed to do something, but is being blocked because of some other work to be done by another team. What should the project manager do first? Okay. So let's go through the answers. Number 1, blame the other team in the status report. As a project manager, you don't blame people in a project. You work with the team to find a solution. So thereby eliminating this one as an answer. Then B, remove the blocker by facilitating coordination with the dependence owner. Okay. This will make sense because it's removing the blocker here. Number C, replace the blocked team member. As a project manager, you don't rush to replace team members without understanding the problem or without trying to resolve the problem, thereby eliminating this one as an answer. Then D, ignore the dependence until the next phase. Never ignore anything in a project if you're a project manager. So eliminating this as an answer, making B the best answer in this scenario. So B is the best answer. You need to remove the blocker by facilitating coordination with the dependence owner. So this is one of the responsibilities of the project manager. You are supposed to remove any impediments or any blockers in a project environment. And our reference is also in the PMBOK, page 79, where we are covering the domain on resource performance. Okay, so the resource domain includes planning resources, eliminating, estimating, and also acquiring resources. Right. So what mindset are we talking about here? Save the team by removing impediments and also facilitating collaboration. This is very important. So this is mindset that you can also use as you practice your PMP questions. You also need to apply some mindset. So making B the best answer in this scenario because the project manager should help the team progress by coordinating dependencies and not blaming team members. Making B the best answer. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe button, and the notification button so that you are the first person to be notified each time a new video is uploaded on this channel. It will also help the channel to grow. It will also help the channel to produce more videos like this one. Right. Practice question number 8. Okay. Practice question number 6. Sorry. Practice question number 6 is: a new risk has been identified during a project meeting. What should the project manager do first? Okay. So this is also classified the difficulties as something that is very easy. So what is our problem statement? The new risk has been identified. So there's a new risk here that has been identified during a meeting. Okay. So the issue here is there's a new risk. So what is supposed to be done by the project manager? Let's go through the answers. Okay. Number one, add it to the risk register and analyze it. Okay. It's expected that as a project manager, the first thing you have to do is to add to the risk register. But let's see the other answers. I like this one. Ignore it unless it becomes an issue. Never ignore a risk as a project manager. Eliminating this answer straight away. Escalate every risk to the CEO. Project manager is supposed to run the project, not to be escalating each and every item. So that eliminates this answer. Okay. Close the project until the risk disappears. You cannot just close a project because there's a risk. You try to mitigate against the risk, or you try to come up with a risk response so that if that is going to materialize, you know how to react, making A the best answer. So you need to add this to the risk register and then analyze it. So which domain are we talking about? We are talking of risk performance domain, which you can find on the PMBOK on page 92 to 102. So this risk domain includes also planning risk, identifying them, analyzing them, planning implementation responses, and also monitoring the risks. So what mindset did we apply in this question? You need to capture, you need to analyze, and also respond to risk proactively, which is very important. So never ignore a risk in any project environment. Making A the best answer, because risks should be documented, they should be assessed before deciding the appropriate response that you're going to do for that risk. Making A the best answer. Practice question number 7. A stakeholder says the weekly report is too technical. Okay, what should the project manager do? What is the project manager supposed to do? So the issue here is a stakeholder is complaining that the weekly report is too technical. Okay, so which means they are receiving some information which they are not probably understanding because it's technical. So let us look at the answers that we have here. Stop communicating with the stakeholder. You don't stop communicating with the stakeholder because they are complaining of a report. So that will eliminate this answer straight away. Okay. Adjust the communication style to the stakeholder's information needs. This makes sense. You need to tailor communication based on the stakeholder requirements. Then on C, ask the stakeholder to learn the technical terminology. You don't do this to your stakeholders. Not every stakeholder should supposed to be technical. So this will eliminate this answer straight away. Send the same report more frequently. This is not going to resolve the issue. So most likely this is unlikely going to be the answer, making B the best answer in this scenario. So you need to adjust the communication style to the stakeholder information needs. Every communication should be tailored based on the stakeholder needs. So which domain are we referring to in the PMBOK? We are referring to stakeholder performance domain, which is on page 67. Okay. So what does it say? It says the stakeholder domain emphasizes identifying stakeholders, planning engagement, communication, managing engagement, and also monitoring both engagement and also communication to the stakeholder. In terms of mindset, what mindset are we talking about here? You need to adapt communication to stakeholder needs. Not every communication should be sent to stakeholders. It has to be tailored based on their needs. So making B the best answer because the effective communication is tailored to the audience and also engagement needs. This is very important. So when if you look at the process groups in the project management process, you find there is a stakeholder engagement plan. So this is where you also need to put the communication needs that you need to apply there. So making B the best answer. If you want to understand more and to learn more about PMP mindset, I've created a full video on PMP mindset, about 30 mindset that you can go through. You can also watch it on my channel. I'll also leave a link in the description below. You can also download the 30 PMP mindset questions. I'll also leave a link in the description below. Right, practice question number 8. The project team, they want to improve quality before defects reach customer. Okay, what is the best approach? So here you're going to look at the best approach. This is also considered the difficulty to be easy. So what is our issue here? The project team, they want to improve quality. So there's quality improvement that is required before the defects, they actually reach the customer. So let us look at the answers now. Number 1, or A, Build quality checks into the work process. Makes sense. Quality should be done throughout the project. And B, wait for the final inspection only. So the moment you see the word wait, it means you're delaying something. So if you wait until the final inspection, what if it's not correct? You're going to get some delay. So we eliminate this. Then C, reduce testing to save time. You want to improve quality. So the moment you reduce testing, most likely you're also going to affect quality negatively. So, and we are going to eliminate this answer. Ask the customer to find the defects later. You don't ask the customer to find the defects. You need to correct the defects before they actually reach the customer. So making A the best answer in this process. You need to build quality throughout the project. So you need to also to make sure that you have quality checks into the work process. So during your execution process, you also have to make sure that you have your quality checks. So which domain are we looking at here, or principle? You need to embed quality into deliverable. So you can also get this from the PMP book. So the quality principles, it emphasizes building quality into processes and deliverable, okay, instead of relying only on the inspection, okay? So what mindset are we applying here? You need to build quality in and do not inspect it only at the end. This can lead to delays in the project, making A the best answer because quality should be embedded into processes and deliverables throughout the project, making A the best answer. All right. Practice question number 9. Okay. A sponsor asks for a feature that was not in the approved scope. What should the project manager do first? Okay. So this is very important. A sponsor is asking for a feature which was never approved in scope. What is supposed to be done by the project manager? Number one, implement it immediately to please the sponsor. This word please is what is spoiling this answer. You don't do things in a project to please the sponsor, okay? And you don't rush into implementing something immediately, so thereby eliminating this answer. Review the change through the agreed change process. This makes sense because this is coming in as a change. It was not part of scope, remember. So it's a change to scope. So we leave this one out for now. Number C, refuse all sponsor request. This does not resolve the problem, so we eliminate it straight away. Ask the team to work overtime. It is advisable that you don't ask your team to work overtime. They have to try to make sure that they work throughout the normal times. So making B the correct answer in this scenario. So B is our correct answer. And what domain are we looking at from our PM book? We are looking at governance performance domain, which is page 10 to 37. So what does it say? It says the governance domain supports alignment, okay? So alignment, accountability, decision path, performance monitoring, assessing, and also implementing changes. So what mindset are we talking about here? We use governance, okay? We use governance and change control instead of formal changes. So this was a new feature which was being asked for. So it has to go through the formal change process, making B the best answer because scope changes should be assessed, decided through the approved governance path. So making B the correct answer. Number 10, the project manager notices how team members are disagreeing about how to complete a task. What should the project manager do? Okay, so the difficulty here level is also a C. So is to facilitate, okay, a discussion. Okay, that makes sense. Remove both team members. You don't remove team members from the project, making this incorrect. Ignore the conflict permanently. You cannot ignore anything in a project environment. Okay, then escalate immediately. You don't escalate until you try to resolve the problem. So making A the best answer in this scenario, and we are talking of resource performance. So what is our mindset here is to facilitate collaboration and also help team resolve issues. Making A the best answer because the project manager should support health conflict and also resolution. I know in some cases you might try to disagree with the answers that I've presented here, but let me know in the comment section below if you disagree or you agree with these answers. So practice question number 11. Okay. The budget baseline has been approved. What should the project manager do during execution? So during execution. So what is our issue here? The budget baseline has been approved. Okay. So we consider the difficulty to be easy on this one. So let us go through the answers now. Monitor and control project finances against baseline. Okay, makes sense. The baseline has been approved here. Stop tracking cost because approval is complete. You don't stop tracking cost, especially during execution, so thereby eliminating this answer. Spend contingents without analysis. You cannot spend things without analyzing, especially the impact and the side effect. So we can eliminate this answer straight away. Allow each team member to create a separate budget. Okay, okay, okay. This one makes sense. Let's see. Now let us eliminate. We are left with two of these answers. Monitor and control project finances against the baseline. So this is a baseline which has been approved, and now we are controlling the baseline. And then on D, allow each team member to create a separate budget. So this is not linked to the baseline. So obviously, we are going to eliminate this, making A the best answer in this scenario. So A is the best answer. Monitor and control project finances against the baseline. Okay. So which domain are we covering? We are covering finance and performance domain in PMBOK on page 58. Okay. So what does it say? The finance domain covers financial planning, estimating cost, developing budgets, monitoring, and also control of project finances. Okay, so this is what we are getting from our PMBOK. So in terms of mindset also that we're using to eliminate this, as we have seen, you need to control finance transparently and also compare performance to the plan. So this is an approved baseline. Approved baseline is where your plan is coming from. So you have to make sure that you are controlling against that. Making A the best answer, because approval budgets, they still need active monitoring and also control throughout the project, making A the best answer. Okay, practice question number 12. A project has fixed deadline and several uncertain features. Okay, what development approach may be appropriate? So you need to look at the development approach. This is what we are looking for. And what is the issue here? It has got fixed deadline and several uncertain features. So which means our timeline is fixed, and we have so many uncertain features. So let us now go through the answers. The difficulty level here is still is easy. Okay. So a hybrid approach that plans fixed elements, adapts certain features. Okay, makes sense. A random approach without planning. You don't do random approach. There is no development approach called random approach. So we can eliminate this one straight away. A fully predictive approach with no change allowed. So you have seen that there are also uncertain features here. Okay. So obviously a predictive approach is not going to work because the features have to be known, or the scope has to be known upfront. So we eliminate this one straight away. No approach until uncertainty is removed. You are not going to do any development approach. So this is also going to delay the project. Eliminating this answer straight away. So making A the best answer in this scenario. So a hybrid approach that plans fixed elements and also adapts uncertain features. So hybrid, in this case, it's most likely going to be a combination of predictive and also agile. So predictive is going to address the fixed deadline, okay? And then adaptive or agile is going to address the uncertain features that we have here, making A the best answer. So what is our reference here? Project life cycle, page 57 up to 73 on the PMBOK. What does it say? The life cycle section explains predictive, adaptive or agile, and also hybrid, and how focus areas apply differently depending on the project context. So the option to go for agile or to go for predictive, it also depends on the project context. In this case, hybrid is the best. So what other mindset did we use to eliminate some of these questions? You need to choose an approach that fits the product and uncertainty. And in this case, only predictive was not going to help here, and also agile was not going to help. Therefore, we decided to go for hybrid, making A the best answer because hybrid delivery can also combine both control of fixed and also adapt to evolving features, making A the best answer. Practice question number 13. A stakeholder is highly influential but has low current engagement. What should the project manager do? Okay, so the difficulty also here is considered easy. So what is our problem statement? The stakeholder is highly influential but has low current engagement. So the issue is the stakeholder is very influential, but the engagement is also very, very low. So what should the project manager do? Okay. So let's go through the answers now. Develop a targeted engagement strategy. Okay. Makes sense. You're targeting specific stakeholders. Ignore the stakeholder because they are quiet. So one of the mindset is never ignore any stakeholder. Engage the stakeholder, understand what they need, and then also plan the engagement. So eliminate this one straight away. Remove the stakeholder from the register. Removing the stakeholder from the register does not resolve the problem. And you should not remove stakeholders from the register. If they are no longer required, you just make sure that you also flag them as not required, but you don't remove them. So therefore, we eliminate this. Then number D, communicate only at project closure. This cannot be done. Communication must be done throughout the project. So thereby eliminating this answer straight away, making A the best answer in this scenario. So you need to develop a targeted engagement strategy. Why are you targeting? Because this is a very influential stakeholder. It means they have impact. Their decisions or their behavior can make or break the project. So you need to have a targeted engagement with them, since at the moment their current engagement is very low. So you need to target them in terms of engagement. So what is our reference here is stakeholder performance domain, okay, in our PM book. What does it say? The stakeholder domain emphasizes identifying stakeholders, planning engagement, communicating, managing engagement, and also monitoring engagement and communication. So what was the mindset that we also used to eliminate some of these questions is you plan engagement based on influence, interest, and also the needs. So this is exactly what we have in this particular practice question. A stakeholder is highly influential but has low engagement. So you need to plan for engagement, making A the best answer because influential stakeholders, they require deliberate engagement or targeted engagement, even when they are not vocal. This is very, very important. Making A the best answer. Sorry. All right. Practice question number 14. A project team is reportedly waiting for decisions. What should the project manager clarify? Okay. So the difficult level also is here. A project team is repeatedly waiting for decisions, which means they're not able to make decisions. So let us go through the answers now. The decision-making model and the governance path, okay, makes sense. You want to clarify as a project manager, what should you clarify here? That is the question. So our problem statement is there is a repeated waiting for decisions, okay, from the team. So number B, the team space and hobbies. This is not going to help in decision making, okay? So thereby we eliminate this one, our mindset. The color of the project logo. This also does not help in any way. I don't know if someone is going to choose an answer like this one. So we eliminate this one straight away. The number of slides in the final report. The team is not deciding. So if you give them the number of slides, it doesn't help them in any way. So this does not solve the problem. So that's the mindset that we use, making A the best answer in this scenario. The decision-making model and governance path is what you should clarify as a project manager. What decision model are you using? What is the governance path that we are using to this? So what is our reference to our PM book? Is governance performance domain, okay? This is our reference. What does it say? The governance domain supports alignment, okay? Accountability, decision path, performance, monitoring, assessing, and also implementing changes through the governance model or mechanism. So what mindset did we use here? Clarify accountability and decision rights. So the problem here is the team is waiting for decisions, okay? So you need to clarify accountability and also decision path on this. Making A the best answer because clear governance reduces delays, okay, caused by unclear authority. So this is very important, making A the best answer. Practice question number 15. A deliverable does not meet the acceptance criteria. What should the project manager do? So what is our problem statement? We have a deliverable which is not meeting acceptance criteria, okay? So let us go through the answers now. Record the gap and work with the team to correct it, okay? So deliverable does not meet. Okay, so there's a gap here. Okay, we'll leave this one for now. Ask the customer to accept it anyway. You don't force customers to accept deliverables. You base your deliverable on acceptance criteria from the customer. So we eliminate this one straight away. All right. Hide the defect until closure. This is one of the ethics from project manager. You should not hide anything, okay, in a project. This is not ethical. You should be transparent. So thereby eliminating this answer straight away. Remove the acceptance criteria. As a project manager, you don't remove acceptance criteria. This is done by the beneficiaries of the deliverable or the users of the deliverable, thereby eliminating this answer, making A the best answer in this scenario. So A is the best answer. And what is our reference in our PMBOK? Embed quality into processes deliverable principle, which is on page 43. You can go through that one for additional reading, okay? So the quality acceptance, the quality principle emphasizes building quality into processes and deliverables instead of relying only on the final inspection, okay? So this is very, very important. So what other mindset did we use when we're eliminating some of these answers? Be transparent and correct quality gaps, okay? Remember, as a project manager, you must have some ethical values, and one of them is transparent and honesty. So this is the correct mindset. Making A the best answer because the team should address non-conformance rather than force acceptance to the customer. So making A the best answer. All right. Practice question number 16. The team asks how success will be measured. What should the project manager include? Okay. So the difficult level here is easy. So what does it mean? What is our problem statement in this case? The team is asking how success will be measured. This is very important. How do we measure success in the project? So this is what the team is asking. So let's go through the answers. Value, stakeholder satisfaction, quality, time, and also cost. This one is mouthful, but it's full of a lot of answers. Okay, we'll leave this one. Let's go to the second one. Only the number of meetings held. Okay, so the team is asking, how do we measure success? You cannot measure success based on the number of team meetings, because in some of the meetings, they don't even end up in resolving issues or even creating deliverables. So making this an incorrect answer. Then C, only the project manager's personal opinion. This cannot be used as a measure of success, personal opinion of a project manager. So we eliminate this one straight away. The mindset does not take project manager as a subject matter expert. And then D, only the original file names of deliverables. So file names, they don't show as success. So making A the best answer in this scenario. You need to measure success based on value, okay? Based on value, based on stakeholder satisfaction, based on quality, and also time or cost expectations. So this is the best answer in this scenario. And how do we reference our PMBOK? You focus on value principle, which is on page 40 for additional reading. So the focus on value principle, it emphasizes decisions that protect intended outcomes, benefits, stakeholder value, rather than simply producing outputs. So in a project environment, the best that we can do is to make sure that every decision that you make is based on the outcome that you want to produce from the project, or is based on the value that you want to derive from the project. So what is our mindset? You need to define success in terms of value and outcomes, not in terms of personal opinions. Making A the best answer because the project success includes deliverable values, stakeholder satisfaction, and not just activity counts. All right. Practice question number 17. A resource is unavailable for a planned task. What should the project manager do first? So the question here is first. The difficulty is classified as easy. So what is our problem statement? A resource is unavailable. So the issue is a problem on the resource being unavailable. Okay. All right. So let us look at the answers here. Review resource options and the schedule impact. Okay, it makes sense. It's going to be unavailable. Cancel the project immediately. You don't cancel a project because the resources are unavailable. And it's unusual to have one project where you only have one resource, which might force you to cancel the project. So thereby we eliminate this one straight away. Tell the customer it is impossible without analysis. Okay, you don't just reject anything to the customer without analysis. You need to do analysis first. So that's not the correct mindset. So we eliminate this one straight away. Delete the task from the scope. You don't delete any task from the scope because a certain resource is not available. Okay, so thereby we eliminate this answer. So making A the best answer in this scenario, you need to review the resource options, okay, and also schedule impact. So whenever you see any question which is asking about what should be done first, The best that you can do is to make sure that you do a review first before you act on anything. So what is our reference in our resource, in our PM book? It's going to be a resource performance domain, all right? What does it say? The resource domain includes planning, okay, of resources, estimating, and also acquiring these resources. So what is the mindset that we're using when we're eliminating these answers? You need to analyze impact first, okay? Analyze impact before deciding or even escalating. This is a very important mindset. As a project manager, you don't just get an issue and then you start acting. Either get more information by doing an analysis or review, or even meeting stakeholders to get more information on that. Then later on, you decide, making A the best answer, because resource issues should be assessed, managed with schedule and also scope implications in mind. Making A the best answer in this scenario. Practice question number 18. A risk response has been approved. What should the project manager do next? So this is very important. And the difficulty here is easy. So what is our problem statement? There's a risk response that has been approved. Okay. So let us go through the answers. Number A, implement the response and monitor its effective. So it's saying next. What should the project manager do next when a response has been approved? Okay. So we leave this one out for now. Close the risk without action. You don't close the risk without action. It has to go through the proper risk flow or analysis or risk management process. So thereby eliminating this answer. Wait until the risk becomes an issue. The moment you see the word wait, you are delaying the project. You are delaying the activity. You are delaying the response. So always make sure that you don't wait for anything, you act. So thereby, we have to eliminate this. You cannot wait for the risk to become an issue. You also need to come up with the responses and act on them. Then number 4, or which is D, ask the sponsor to ignore the risk. The responsibility of the project manager is to run the project. So you don't ask the sponsor to ignore. So this word ignore makes this answer incorrect, thereby making A the best answer in this scenario. So what is our reference in the PM book is risk performance domain, okay, which is on page 92. What does it say? The risk domain includes planning, risk management, okay, identifying risk, analyzing risk, planning and implementing responses too. So what is our mindset in this? Risk responses must be implemented, not only documented. So you must implement. So that is why you see in answer number A, we are implementing the risk. Because what are you supposed to do next if the response has been agreed? All right. Making A the best answer because a planned risk response only protects the project when executed and also monitored. Right. Practice question number 19. A project team wants more ownership of task decisions. Okay. What should the project manager do? Okay. So what is our problem statement? The project team, they want more ownership of task decisions. All right. So let us go through the answers now. Number A, empower the team with agreed boundaries. Okay, it makes sense because the team, they want more ownership on task decisions. So if you empower them, it might help this problem. Then B, make every decision personally. You see, this is not going to resolve the problem. The team, they want some ownership on making these decisions, and then you make every decision as a project manager. So definitely, this is eliminating the answer. The mindset is that a project manager is not a subject matter expert, but the team is. Then on C, stop the team from discussing alternatives. You don't do this in a project environment. Allow an environment where the team can air their views. They can also make some decisions, especially where it's a subject matter decision, thereby making this an incorrect answer. Then D, eliminate routine tasks, okay? Decisions to the sponsor. You want to escalate routine tasks decisions to the sponsor. This is the responsibility of the project manager. You cannot just push it to the sponsor like that, making this an incorrect answer. So the best answer here is A, which is empower the team within the agreed boundaries. You empower the team, but you give them boundaries because they want ownership and they also want to make some decisions. Making A the best answer. And what is our reference here? We reference our PM book on the build and empowered culture principle, which is page 53. All right, so what is the mindset that was applied here? You need to enable ownership, okay, and decision making at the right level. Remember, we are also giving boundaries. So we allow the team to make decisions, but with certain boundaries. which means they have to escalate to the project manager where necessary. A is the best answer because empowering your teams and more accountable responses when boundaries are clear. Okay, so making A the best answer. Practice question number 20. Okay, a project manager is asked to ignore a small compliance requirement to save time. What should they do? All right. So a project manager, what is the problem statement here? A project manager is asked to ignore a small compliance requirement to save time. All right. So this is the problem. There's an issue with time. Now we have to ignore some compliance. Number A, follow ethical and government requirements. Okay, this makes sense. Ignore it because it is small. Never ignore anything in a project environment. You need to confront the problem and look for solution. Ask the team to hide it in the documentation. This is against ethics. You don't hide things in a project environment. So making this incorrect. Deliver first and then hope for no. Project management, it's not about hoping. It's about planning and acting. So making A, the best answer. So you need to follow governance, ethical, and also you need to follow ethical and governance expectations as a project manager. And what is our reference here? Is leader principles. Be an accountable leader principles in our PMBOK. And then the mindset that we used here, act ethically and transparent. As a project manager, you must be transparent and honest, making A the best answer because accountable leadership does not bypass compliance issues. I'm also going to leave a link in the description below where you can download these slides that we have gone through in this particular video. Practice question number 21, okay? So a schedule activity is taking longer than planned. What should the project manager do first? Okay, so the question here is about first. So the difficulty here is easy. So a schedule, what is our problem statement? A schedule activity is taking longer than planned. What should the project manager do first? Okay, so A is to assess the variance and determine the impact. Okay, makes sense. If you see the word first, assess, review, analyze, you're getting more information before you take action. Immediately fire the task owner. You don't fire people in a project. This is the wrong mindset. So we eliminate this one straight away. Tell the customer the project has failed. You cannot conclude that the project has failed because there is an activity which is taking longer. Remember, a scheduled activity is taking longer than planned. This is the issue. All right? So this cannot resolve the problem. Delete the activity from the schedule. You don't delete activities because they're taking long, thereby making A the best answer in this scenario. What is our reference? Our reference in PMBOK is schedule performance domain, which is on page 47. What does it say? Schedule. It says schedule domain focuses on planning, developing, monitoring, schedule work is sequenced and also realistic. Then also controlled against agreed objectives. So what is our mindset that we're using to eliminate? You might have seen it. You need to understand the variance before taking any corrective action. This is very important. What you're supposed to do first is to understand, okay? Understand what is causing this to take longer than planning. Then you can come up with a solution, making A the best answer in this scenario because schedule control starts with analyzing variance and also impact. Okay. Right. Practice question number 22. A stakeholder requests more frequent updates during a critical phase. What should the project manager do? Okay. We are also considering the difficulty here to be easy. So a stakeholder requests more frequent updates during a critical phase. So is asking for frequent updates in a critical phase. Let us go through the answers now. Review and adjust the communication plan if appropriate. Okay. Because there's frequency. Okay. Makes sense. Refuse because the original plan cannot change. You don't refuse anything from a stakeholder. The best is to sit with the stakeholder, try to understand, and also adjust communications accordingly. So eliminate this one straight away. Send confidential team notes without review. There's nothing called confidential in the project management process. Everything has to be very transparent. So thereby eliminating this straight away from the mindset. Stop all communication. You don't stop communication to stakeholders in a project environment. Communication must be maintained throughout the project in a project environment. So eliminating this answer, making A the best answer in this scenario, you need to review and adjust the communication plan if appropriate. So what is our reference in the PMBOK? Is stakeholder performance domain, which is also on page 67. All right. What does it say? It says stakeholder domain emphasizes identifying stakeholders, planning engagement, communicating, managing engagement, and also monitoring both engagement and also communication. So what is the mindset that you used when you're eliminating some of these answers? You need to adapt engagement when stakeholder needs change. So stakeholders, they change throughout the project, and also their needs also changes throughout the project. So you have to make sure that you're adapting to that, making A the best answer, because communication plans can be adjusted to support stakeholder confidence and also project needs. So making A the best answer. Right. Going through the practice question number 23. The team identifies a simple way to deliver the same value. What should the project manager do? Okay. And the difficulty here, we are classifying it as is. So what is our problem statement? Team is identifying a simpler way to deliver the same value. So what should the project manager do? Evaluate the idea and also pursue it through the appropriate processes. Okay. I like the word evaluate because you're getting more information. Reject it because it was not in the original. In the project management process, you don't reject anything before you understand it. So making this an incorrect answer. Tell the team not to suggest improvements. You don't block the team from suggesting improvements. Remember the mindset. The team is the team members are the ones who are the subject matter experts, not the PM. So making this incorrect answer. Implement it secretly without analysis. Everything should be transparent. So this way it is making this answer incorrect. Then making the correct answer to be A. So evaluate the idea and also pursue it through appropriate. Get to know more about this idea from the team because it's going to give the same value, but it's just it's a simpler way to do it. So you need to evaluate, understand it, and then allow the team to proceed. So what is our reference here is focus on value, okay? Principle. All right. What is the mindset that we're using to eliminate some of these answers is you need to protect value while using the right decision path. So in this case, there's a simpler way of doing things, all right, here, and it's giving the same value. So you need to protect the value. So evaluate the idea and also pursue it through the appropriate process, making A the best answer because the value-focused leadership considers better options while still following the governance, making A the best answer. Practice question number 24. A vendor delay threatens a milestone. What should the project manager do first? Okay. And the difficulty here is easy. All right. So a vendor delay is threatening a milestone. So which means the delay that is coming from the vendor might affect achieving a certain milestone. What should the project manager do first? Analyze the impact and review response options. Remember the mindset. I like the word review and analyze. You're getting more information before you act. Wait until the milestone is missed. Never wait for anything in a project. You're causing delays. So automatically we eliminate this answer. Cancel all vendor payment immediately. You don't just start firing people or vendors in a project just like that. You need to evaluate, understand what is the impact in terms of cost, in terms of time on the delays. So making this an incorrect answer. You cannot just cancel. Remember, you have contracts on this. Blame procurement in the lessons learned register. You don't blame people in a project environment. Try to understand, evaluate the problem, and come up with a solution. Making A the best answer in this scenario. You need to analyze, which is good, get more information, the impact, and review the response. You're also getting information when you review the response. What is our reference here? Schedule performance domain, which is on page 47 of our PM book. What does it say? Schedule domain focuses on planning, developing, monitoring the schedule so that work is sequenced, is also realistic, controlled against agreed objectives. So what is the mindset that we use for this? You need to analyze the schedule impacts before deciding on corrective action. You need to understand the issue first. So in A, when you analyze and you also do a review of the response, you are understanding more of the issue, making A the best answer because the vendor delays require impact analysis, response planning, and not blaming, making A the best answer. Practice question number 25. A team member asks for a clarification on their role. What should the project manager provide? Okay. So what is our problem statement? A team member is asking for clarification on their role. So they are not understanding their role in this case. So let us go through the answers now. The agreed roles, responsibilities, and accountability information. What should the project manager provide? Supposed to provide this one. It makes sense. You are providing roles and responsibilities. A personal opinion unrelated to the project. This is not going to help the team member. You are giving personal opinions which is not related to the project, thereby eliminating this answer. No answer because teams should guess roles. In a project, you must clarify the roles to the team. They should not guess in any way, thereby eliminating this answer. The stakeholder register only. Giving the team member stakeholder register does not help in clarifying their roles. So this one does not answer the question, making A the best answer in this scenario. So you should provide agreed roles, responsibilities, and also accountability information for the team member to have some clarification on their roles. So this is the best answer. And what is our reference in our PMBOK? We reference performance domain, okay, which is on page 79. What does it say? The performance domain includes planning resources, estimating, acquiring resources, loading the team, and monitoring and also controlling resources. So what is our mindset? We need to clarify roles to support accountability and teamwork. This is very important as a project manager. Always clarify the roles to all your team members, making A the best answer because the clearer the roles and responsibilities, they help the team to coordinate and even perform better, making A the best answer. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe button, and the notification button so that you are the first person to be notified each time a new video is uploaded on this channel. It will also help the channel to grow. It will also help the channel to produce more videos like this one. Practice question number 26. Okay. A customer rejects a deliverable because a requirement was misunderstood. What should the project manager do first? Okay, so the main word here is first. All right. So, what is our problem statement? A customer is rejecting a deliverable. This is our problem statement because the requirement was misunderstood. So, there was a requirement which was misunderstood by the team, and therefore, the customer is now rejecting the deliverable. What should the project manager do first? A is to review the requirements and determine the corrective action. Okay, makes sense. I like the word review because it's first. First, you need to get more information. Tell the customer they are wrong. This is not the best approach to work with customers. Remember, you do projects for the customers, not for yourself. So you cannot just go to the customer and tell them they are wrong, making this an incorrect answer. Then C, close the project because rejection occurred. You don't close the project because there's rejection. You need to understand why is it the customer is rejecting a deliverable, making this an incorrect answer. Okay. Remove the customer from validation. The customer is the owner of the deliverable, so you cannot remove them from validation. They are the ones who are going to use the acceptance criteria to accept the deliverable, making this an incorrect answer. Thereby, A is the best answer in this particular scenario. You need to review the requirement and also determine the corrective action. This is very important. Before you take any action, you need to understand what is it the customer is complaining about. Why is it the customer is rejecting a deliverable? Or why is it true that the requirements were also misunderstood? This is very, very important. And our reference here is the scope performance domain in our PMBOK. Then what is our mindset? The mindset that we used here, or the best mindset for this scenario, is to use the requirements and the validation feedback to correct gaps. This is very important. When you give a customer a deliverable, they go through the acceptance criteria. They can give you feedback. Use that feedback to improve in the next cycle. So what is the best answer is A, because misunderstood requirements, they require review. You need to understand why they were misunderstood. They also require correction, and also it must be aligned with the stakeholder, making A the best answer. Practice question number 27. The project is closing. What should the project manager ensure? Okay, this is very important. What should they ensure? The difficulty here is easy, all right? The project is closing. So this is the last phase or the last process group that you should expect in the project management. So what should the project manager ensure? Deliverables are accepted and closure activities are completed. Makes sense, all right? All risks are deleted from history. You don't delete any risks in a project. You don't delete most of the records actually in a project. You can archive them for future reference, making this an incorrect answer. Lessons learned are ignored. Lessons learned are very important, especially when you are closing the project. You want to be able to be better in the next projects. So making this an incorrect answer. They cannot be ignored. This is incorrect. You have to capture them. Then stakeholders, they stop receiving final information. Stakeholders, they receive even the final report when they're closing the project, making this an incorrect answer. And in this scenario, A is our best answer. Deliverables are accepted and closure activities are completed. So if the project is closing, you have to make sure that the deliverables are accepted and also the closure activities they are also completed. What is our reference is governance performance domain, all right? And the mindset that is applicable to this particular practice question, you need to close formally and transparently. So this is very important. You don't just close a project. Whether it's terminated or whether it's closing normally, a project should be closed formally and also in a transparent manner, which means all the documentation is done. Making A the best answer because closure requires acceptance. It requires final records and also completion of agreed actions, making A the best answer. Practice question number 28. A team member suggests using AI to draft a risk list. What should the project manager do? This is very interesting. So a team member, a team member is suggesting using AI to draft a risk list, which means they want AI to give them a risk list. Let's go through the answers and see. Use it responsibly with human review and appropriate data safeguards. Okay. AI can be used as a springboard. Excuse me. AI can be used as a springboard. Okay, and then you review. This one makes sense. Let AI make all project decisions alone. This is very dangerous. You see, any project environment must be based on the context of the project. So AI might not know the actual context as compared to human review. So making this an incorrect answer. All right. Enter confidential data into any public tool without approval. Confidential data cannot be in any public tool. It has to be approved first. So if you're not getting approval, that is against the ethics of project management. So making this an incorrect answer. You need to ban all technology from the project. You don't do this in a project. If there's a suggestion, you need to evaluate how is it going to add value to the project, making this an incorrect answer. So for this particular scenario, A is the best answer. Use it responsibly with human review. This is very important. AI can give you some answers which might not relate to the context of the project. So you need a human review to make sure that this is correct data that is coming in. So what is our reference in our PM book? It's our tailoring. What does it say? Tailoring adapts, okay? Development approach, processes, engagement, and methods, project management practice to organization and also project context. This is very important. Even if AI is going to give you the risk list first, you still need to make sure that it's also tailored to the context of the project. So what is the best mindset that you can use in this particular scenario? You use tools responsibly and keep human oversight. You still need some human intervention to make sure that whatever is coming from AI is actually correct. And making A the best answer. AI can support work, but the project manager remains accountable for quality, ethics, and also data use, making A the best answer. If you want to understand more and to learn more about PMP mindset, I've created a full video on PMP mindset, about 30 mindset that you can go through. You can also watch it on my channel. I'll also leave a link in the description below. You can also download the 30 PMP mindset questions. I'll also leave a link in the description below. Practice question number 29. A project has stakeholders in different countries. What should the project manager consider? Okay. The difficulty here is very easy, all right? What is our problem statement? There are so many stakeholders in different countries. Okay, so let's go through the answers so that we see what to consider here. Cultural and communication differences when planning engagement. Most likely are going to have cultural and communication differences if people are in different countries. Okay, so we leave this one out. Communicating only one style regardless of audience. This cannot work. Different countries, different stakeholders, they have different communication needs, even communication styles. So eliminating this one automatically. Then C, ignoring the time zones because the project plan is fixed. You cannot ignore time zones. People in different countries and different time zones, they will come to work at different times. So you need a way to coordinate and communicate with your team, thereby making this incorrect answer. Removing remote stakeholders from the project. You cannot just do this. This day and age, most of the projects are being delivered remotely. And you might have the skills that you want, which are existing remotely. So you cannot just go on and remove these stakeholders, making this an incorrect answer. And in this scenario, A is the best answer. You need cultural, okay, and you need to consider cultural and communication differences when planning your engagement. Remember, these are in different countries, okay? Stakeholders in different countries. So the cultures and also the communication, it has to differ. All right. So what is our reference here? Our reference is stakeholder performance domain, okay, which is on page 67. And the mindset that we're using here, you need to tailor communication on cultural, okay, to cultural and also stakeholder context. Communication cannot be one size fits all. It has to be tailored based on the culture and also the different countries that we are considering for these stakeholders. Making A the best answer because global stakeholder engagement requires consideration of culture, even language, timing, and also even access to those stakeholders. Making A the best answer. Practice question number 30. Okay. An issue is outside the project manager's authority. What should the project manager do? All right. And the difficulty here is easy. So, what is our problem statement? There's an issue which is outside project manager's authority. All right. So, this is our problem. There's an issue outside the project manager's authority. Let us go through the answers now. Escalate through the agreed governance path with facts and options. Okay. Makes sense. Because this is beyond the project manager's authority. So escalation might make sense so that you don't confuse escalate to sponsor without the issue on authority. All right. B, hide the issue from leadership. Never hide anything in a project. Always be honest and transparent, making this an incorrect answer. Change the project charter alone. Okay. Project charter, once it's approved, you cannot just go and change. It has to go through the change process. So this one cannot be the correct answer in this scenario. Ask the team to solve it without authority. Don't violate anything in a project or try to bypass anything in a project, including authority, making this an incorrect answer. So the best answer in this scenario is actually A, which is to escalate through agreed governance path with facts and options. Okay. So you go with your facts and options as you escalate. So you can see in this scenario, you have to escalate because it is beyond your authority. If you look at here, it is beyond your authority as a project manager. And what is our reference? Is governance performance domain, all right? And the mindset that is applicable to this particular scenario is escalate only when needed, okay, with facts and options. So there are cases where you don't need to escalate to the project sponsor or even steering committee or even senior management. But there are cases also where you have to escalate, especially if it's beyond the project manager's authority. And also, if it is something that requires approval, so you have to escalate on that. Making A in this scenario the best answer because issues beyond authority requires structured escalation, not concealment or unilateral actions. So this is very important. If something is beyond the authority, something requires approval, then it has to go through, it has to be escalated in a project environment, making A the best answer. If you want to understand and appreciate more on project management as a whole, I've also created a comprehensive ebook, which you can also download from the link in the description below. So question number 31. The team wants to skip a review to save time. What should the project manager do? Okay. So what is our problem statement? The team, they want to skip a review to save time. Okay. So the difficulty here is easy. So let us go through the answers now. Explain the quality purpose, okay, and look for efficient ways to complete the review. Okay, this makes sense because I'm seeing it's targeting to resolve the review issue here. Then B, approve skipping all reviews. This is very dangerous. In a project, you don't skip reviews. They are very important. You cannot skip reviews to save time. It might also affect quality, making this an incorrect answer. Remove quality criteria from the plan. You don't remove quality criteria. The purpose of doing a project or to produce a deliverable is to have high quality, making this an incorrect answer. Wait for the customer to find defects. You don't give defects to customers. It might be very costly to correct defects once they are discovered by the customer as compared to discovered during development process, making this incorrect answer. Therefore, in this scenario, the correct answer is A. Explain the quality purpose, okay, and look for efficient ways to complete the review, which is very important. All right. And what is our reference here? We need to embed quality processes and deliverables in a project. And our mindset that should be applied to this particular scenario is you need to protect quality without being rigid about how it's going to be done. So this is very important. This is a very important mindset. Everything that you do in a project must be quality checked, must be quality protected, making A the best answer, okay? Because it reviews and protects quality. It can also be optimized without abandoning controls, making A the best answer. Right. Practice question number 32. A project manager receives conflicting priorities from two stakeholders. What should they do first? So the word first is there. Once you see the word first, it means you need you need to get more information before you actually act, which means review, evaluate, analyze, and so on and so forth. So what is our problem statement? A project manager is receiving conflicting priorities, okay, from two stakeholders. So let's go through the answers now. Facilitate alignment and clarify priorities through the proper decision path. This makes sense. You are facilitating alignment. This word is very important. Alignment, because there are two stakeholders giving conflicting priorities. B, choose the loudest stakeholder's priority. This is not the best way to act in a project. Someone might be the loudest, but does not mean that they are giving things which make sense. So making this incorrect answer. Ignore both priorities. You don't ignore things in a project. Priorities, challenges, issues, risks in a project should not be ignored. So making this incorrect answer. Ask the team to work on both without analysis. You need to analyze. You cannot just ask the team to work on conflicting priorities. It has to be analyzed and prioritize them. So making this an incorrect answer. And therefore, A is the best answer in this scenario. You need to facilitate alignment. This is very important. Facilitate alignment and also clarify priorities through proper decision path. Making A the best answer here. And what is our reference to our PMBOK? Stakeholder performance domain, which is also on page 67. And what is the mindset that we have here? You need to bring stakeholders together and clarify decisions. So these are two stakeholders which are who are giving us competing priorities or conflicting priorities. So the best is to bring these two together, okay, and have an alignment in terms of what needs to be done, making A the best answer, because conflicting priorities, they require alignment and not guess. You should not be guessing or overloading the team. All right, making A the best answer. Practice question number 33. A risk owner reports that a trigger condition has occurred. What should happen next? This is very important. So a risk owner is saying there's a trigger for a risk that has happened. What should happen? Okay, so the problem statement is there's a risk owner who is reporting that a trigger condition has occurred. So let us go through the answers now. Execute the planned response or reassess if needed. Okay, makes sense. The risk has been triggered. Okay, so delete the risk because it is now inconvenient. You don't delete risks in a project. Keep the history, making this incorrect. Then on C, ignore it unless the sponsor asks. You don't ignore issues or risks in a project environment. You have to confront the risk. You need to confront the issues in a project environment, making this incorrect. Then on D, close the project immediately. You don't close the project because there's a risk. All right, that is the trigger condition is okay. So making this incorrect answer. So the best answer here is A, which is you need to execute the planned response. So when you create your risk register, you are also putting the risk responses. All right. So what is our reference here? Is risk performance domain, which is on page 92. All right. And what is the mindset that we're applying here? Act when trigger occurs. So when you capture your risk, you are also capturing the responses. So if it materializes that risk, it means you now have to apply the risk responses, making A the best answer, because the trigger indicates that a risk response or assessment is now needed. So A is the best answer in this scenario. Right, practice question number 34. A project requires specialized skills that the team does not have. What should the project manager do? Okay, we consider this to be easy. So what is our problem statement? A project requires specialized skills and the team does not have that specialized skill. So one of the mindset is if you don't have the knowledge or the skills, you need to ask for help from the experts. All right. So let's go through the answers now. Plan how to obtain or develop these required skills. Makes sense. Hope the team learns without support. As a project manager, you're supposed to support the team. You're supposed to develop the team to acquire new skills to improve even their efficiency, making this an incorrect answer. Remove the related deliverables without approval. You don't do this in a project. A deliverable is coming from the customers or users. So you cannot just go and remove them, making this an incorrect answer. Then D, blame the team for the skill gap. You don't blame your team in the project. Remember, during execution, one of the process is to develop your team. You must make sure your team is trained enough for the project, making this an incorrect answer. Therefore, the best answer in this scenario is A. You need to plan how to obtain, okay? You need to plan how to obtain or develop the required resources in a project environment. So what is our reference here is resource performance domain, which says resource performance domain includes planning resources, okay, estimating, acquiring resources, leading the team, monitoring, and also controlling resources. So as you plan for your resources, you also need to plan for training, especially for the skills which does not exist within your team. So the applicable mindset to respond to this practice question is you need to acquire and develop capabilities. This is very important, needed for delivery. So this team, in this case, they don't have a specific skill, right? So what should the project manager do? You need to develop the capabilities which is lacking in the team, making A the best answer because resource planning includes identifying and also obtaining needed skills, making A the best answer. All right. Practice question number 35. A change request is approved. What should the project manager update? So change request has been approved. What should the project manager update? All right. So we consider this to be an easy practice question, right? So what is our problem statement? The change request has been approved. So there's a change request that has been approved. What should the project manager do or update? All right. So the first one is the relevant baselines, plans, and impacted project documents. Makes sense because a change is to something that has been baselined before. Only the meeting title. This does not resolve the problem. So automatically you can eliminate this problem, this answer. There's no way you can choose this answer. Then C, nothing because approval is enough. No, even if approval is done, approval is going to result in some other documents being updated in the project management process. So making this an incorrect answer. Only the sponsor's calendar. This does not help. I don't know if someone is going to choose this answer. So we eliminate it straight away. So the best answer here is actually A, all right? The relevant baselines must be updated, okay? The plans also must be updated, and also the impacted documents should also be updated. So if a change has been approved, okay, the project manager should always update the baselines, the plans, and also impacted documents. So what is our reference for our PMBOK? It has to be governance performance domain, all right, which is on page 10 to 37. All right, and then the applicable mindset in this scenario is you keep the plans and the baselines aligned with the approved decision. So as you go through the project, in most cases, it's unusual to find a project where you don't find any changes. So as the changes are coming in, as the changes are getting approved, if it's a predictive environment, they're approved by the CCB. If it is an agile environment, they're approved by the product owner and reprioritized in the product backlog. So as they come, make sure that the baselines, they are also being updated, making A the best answer because approved changes must be reflected in the project management information. So any changes must also be traceable. So you need to update them, making A the best answer. Right. The next one is practice question number 36. A feature requested by users is low effort but provides a no meaningful value. What should the project manager recommend? So the project manager is supposed to recommend. Our problem statement is there's a feature that is being requested here, okay? And it has got low effort, but there is no meaningful value. So one of the mindset is to make sure that whatever you do in the project is adding value, either to business or to the project. So let us go through the answers to see what the project manager should recommend. Evaluate whether it supports value before adding it. Okay, this makes sense. Evaluation is very important. I like the word evaluation. You're getting more information before you take action. Edit because it is easy. Okay, you don't just start by acting. You need to evaluate and understand. Okay, if it's going to help in this scenario where they suppose the value before you edit. So making this incorrect answer. Edit secretly to impress users. Everything must be transparent in a project. That's a good ethics of a project manager. So this becomes an incorrect answer. Replace higher value work automatically. Okay, you don't do this in a project. You don't just go and replace high value, because something which has got high value, it must be protected in a project environment. So making this an incorrect answer, and in this scenario, the best answer is A. You need to evaluate whether it supports value before adding it. So evaluation is very important. You get more information. And what is our reference to our PM book is you're supposed to focus on value principle. And what is our mindset that is applicable here is do not confuse low effort with high value. Something might have low effort, but in terms of value, you're not getting much. So it might not be even necessary to add that specific activity in a project environment. Making A the best answer because work should be prioritized by value. There's no project that you're going to do which doesn't add value. Then why are you doing that project? Not by effort. So making A the best answer. Practice question number 37. Okay. The team is unclear about the project's external regulatory environment. What should the project manager do? Right? So the problem here is the team is unclear about the project's external regulatory environment. That's our problem statement. So let's go through the answers now. Identify applicable constraints and incorporate them into planning. Okay, makes sense. Ignore external factors because they are outside the team. We don't ignore external factors, especially if it's something's regulatory, it means it's mandatory. So making this incorrect answer. Let the customer handle everything without informing the team. This is not supposed to be done by the customer. If anything customer is a stakeholder in the project. If there's anything they have to do, it's going to affect the project. So therefore, you should be involved, making this incorrect answer. Proceed without analysis. This is very dangerous. You don't proceed in a project environment without analysis. You need to understand what is the effect, what is the impact of this external regulatory item, making this an incorrect answer. Therefore, the best answer in this scenario is A, which is identify applicable constraints, okay, and also incorporate them into planning, right? So what is our reference in our PM book is going to be on adopt a holistic view principle. What does it say? Holistic view considers wider system, interactions, dependency, stakeholders, constraints, and also consequences before acting. So the best mindset in this scenario is to consider the broader system and also constraints, making A the best answer because it's looking at a holistic view for external influences such as regulation or even compliance. Right. A project decision. Practice question number 38. A project decision may reduce short-term costs but create long-term operating waste. What should the project manager consider? What is our problem statement here? A project decision may reduce short-term costs, okay, but it's going to create long-term waste, right? What should the project manager consider? All right. So the first answer is sustainability and long-term impacts before recommending a decision. Okay, it makes sense. Only the cheapest immediate action. Cheapest action. This is what is making this answer incorrect. Something might be cheap, but might not be the best. Only the fastest option, regardless of consequences. This is the same like B above. Something might be the fastest, but might not be the best answer in this scenario. Okay. Hiding long-term effects from stakeholders. Never hide anything. Be transparent and honest in a project environment, making this an incorrect answer. So the best answer here is A, which is sustainability and long-term impacts before recommending a decision. And what is our reference here is integration, all right? Integrate sustainability within all project areas. What does it say? So the sustainability principle encourages, okay, consideration of long social environment and also economic impacts throughout the project. This is very important. So what is the mindset that is applicable here is you need to balance short-term delivery with long-term impact. So in this particular scenario, the project decision it has got a short-term cost, okay, that is going to reduce it. But in terms of long-term, there's going to be operational waste. So the best that the project manager should consider is sustainability and also long-term, making A the best answer, because sustainability requires consideration of long-term value and also consequences, and not only immediate cost, making A the best answer. Then practice question number 39. The team asks whether a risk is positive or negative. How should the project manager respond? So the team is expecting the project manager to respond. They want to understand whether the risk is positive or is negative. So let's go through the answers now. Risks can represent threats or opportunities. Okay, you want to respond as a project manager. The difficult level here is easy. All right. All right. Risks are always negative. Risks can be opportunities or even threats, negative or positive. So this one is not correct. Risks are only scheduled delays. Risks can also be even on costs, on quality, and everything else in a project. So it cannot only be considered to be scheduled, making this incorrect. Then risks are the same as issues. This is not correct. A risk is something that can affect the project deliverables, a future event that can affect the project's deliverable. An issue is a materialized risk. So making this an incorrect answer. So the best answer here is A. Risk can represent both threats and also opportunities. This is very important. Okay, a risk can be an opportunity or it can be also a threat. What is our reference is a risk performance domain. All right. And what is applicable mindset in this scenario? You need to treat uncertainty as both threat and also opportunity. So this is very important. You need to consider risk either as a threat or even as an opportunity, making A the best answer, because risk management addresses uncertainty events that can also have a positive or even a negative effect in a project, making A the best answer. Right. Practice question number 40. A stakeholder says they were not included in requirements discussion. What should the project manager do? So what is our problem statement here? A stakeholder was not included, okay, in requirements discussion. So when requirements were being discussed, a stakeholder was not included. That is what they are saying, all right? So what should the project manager do? Review stakeholder identification and engagement, then include the stakeholder appropriately. So this makes sense. We leave it like this. Continue without them because discussions have already happened. This is not the best mindset to include. If a stakeholder is complaining that they were not included, then you need to put effort to understand what is their communication needs, what is their engagement needs, so that you can aid them and communicate with them in future discussions. So making this an incorrect answer. Ask the stakeholder to approve without reviewing anything. A stakeholder must be satisfied for them to approve anything. So making this an incorrect answer. Remove the stakeholder from scope decisions. You don't remove stakeholders. They're the ones who are supposed to make decisions on scope. They're the ones who are supposed to own the deliverables from the project, making this an incorrect answer. So A is the best answer in this scenario. You need to review stakeholder identification, engagement, and then include them in the appropriate way. So the word review is going to help you to gain more information. Remember, what are you supposed to do first, or what are you supposed to do as a project manager? So the first thing is to understand, to get more information. So how do you get information? You need to identify what the stakeholder is actually looking for. So that means in future, this stakeholder is going to be involved in this requirements discussion. So what is our reference in the PMBOK? Stakeholder performance domain, which is on page 67. What is the best mindset here? You need to assess stakeholders when gaps appear. So stakeholders in a project, they always change. Okay, some they come in, some they go. So you need to assess their stakeholder needs and also the gaps in terms of communication. All right, making A the best answer, because missed stakeholders can create scope or acceptance problems. Or so engaging should be done in the correct way. If you miss a specific stakeholder, like in this case, they are saying they were not included, which means they were missed in the requirements. It will create problems. So always make sure you engage and you also involve the stakeholders, making A the best answer in this scenario. If you want to understand more and to learn more about PMP mindset, I've created a full video on PMP mindset, about 30 mindset that you can go through. You can also watch it on my channel. I'll also leave a link in the description below. You can also download the 30 PMP mindset questions. I'll also leave a link in the description below. Practice question number 41. Midway through a hybrid project, the predictive infrastructure work is stable, but the customer-facing features are changing every sprint. Okay, what should the project manager recommend? So let us look at our problem statement here. Midway through a hybrid project. Okay, so it's a hybrid project. The predictive infrastructure, okay, work is stable, but the customer-facing features, okay, they are changing every sprint. What should the project manager do? So it's a hybrid where we have a stability in terms of predictive infrastructure, and then customer-facing features, they're changing every sprint. All right, so that's the agile part of it. So let us go through the answers now. Convert the entire project to predictive delivery. Okay, we'll just leave this one like that. Keep the hybrid approach and tailor governance for both stable and adaptive work. Okay, this one makes sense. Stop sprint reviews until all infrastructure work is finished. In a project, the good mindset, you don't stop anything. Otherwise, you're going to cause delay, and project managers are not supposed to cause delay. So we can eliminate this one straight away. Remove the changing features from the project without analysis. You don't just remove. Remember, this is a hybrid. Part of it is also predictive, and part of it is agile. So you cannot just go and remove things there. So we take this one out. Now we are left with these two. Let's go through them again. Convert the entire project to predictive. You can't do this because you are hearing that the features are changing every sprint. So we eliminate this one, making B the best answer in this scenario. So B is our best answer. You need to keep the hybrid approach, okay, and tailor governance, okay, for both stable and adaptive work. So what is our reference from PMBOK? This is our life cycle, which is on page 57, all right? So the life cycle section explains predictive, adaptive, and hybrid approaches, and how focus areas apply differently depending on the project context. So in this particular context, it's the best is to have a hybrid because the features, they're changing, and we also understand that there's stability on the infrastructure side. So what is the applicable mindset in this scenario? It is to match the deliver approach to nature of work. This is tailoring, which is very, very important. Making B the best answer because hybrid projects can manage stable components of predictive and also uncertain features, which is agile or adaptive, when governance is very clear. Making B the best answer. Practice question number 42. A powerful stakeholder rejects a tested deliverable because it does not include a preference that was never approved. Okay. What should the project manager do first? So this is very important. So you need to gather more information. The difficulty here is a bit hard. So a powerful stakeholder rejects tested deliverable. Okay. So a stakeholder is rejecting tested deliverables because it does not include a preference that were never approved. So what should the project manager do first? Number one, or A, add the preference immediately to the project to protect the relationship. Never do this in a project. Don't rush to action. You need to understand first, get more information, therefore eliminating this answer. Review the approved requirements and facilitate a change request if needed. I like this one. Let's see. Ask the team to argue directly with the stakeholder. Don't create friction in a project environment. This is one of the responsibilities of a project manager. So they cannot start arguing with the stakeholder. So making this one incorrect. D, close deliverables because testing was completed. You don't close deliverables before they are accepted by the customer. That's a wrong mindset. So making this one incorrect. So the best answer in this scenario is B. I like the way the review. Once you start review, you are also getting more information. And therefore, your next activities will be evidence-based. Okay, so review the proposed requirements and facilitate a change request, which is very important because the customer is asking for something which was never approved. Okay, so for it to be approved, it has to go through the change request. So the project manager is supposed to review this. So where is our reference in our PMBOK? Scope performance, which is on page 35. Okay. And then our mindset, which is applicable in this scenario, is you use approved requirements and change control to manage expectations. So in this particular scenario, the client is asking for something which was never approved. So it means it has to go through the change process, making B the best answer, because preference outside approved scope should be assessed through requirements and also change governance, making B the best answer. Practice question number 43. A team member repeatedly misses commitments and says the estimates were unrealistic. What should the project manager do first? Okay. So our problem statement, we have a team member who is missing some commitments, and the reason being that the estimates are being claimed to be unrealistic. That's our problem here. So what should the project manager do first? Replace the team member immediately. Never do this in a project as a project manager. You don't replace a team member because they're raising concerns. You try to understand the concerns, making this one incorrect. All right. Review the estimating assumptions and coach the team member. It makes sense. I like the word coach. Project manager is supposed to coach team members. Escalate to HR without discussing the issue. Never escalate to HR. The project manager is supposed to manage project on a day-to-day basis, making this one incorrect. Then reduce quality standards to recover time. You don't reduce quality standards just like that because someone is saying the estimates are not realistic. So making this one incorrect. The best answer in this scenario is B. You need to review the estimating assumptions so that you get more information, and then you also coach the team member so that you can understand why some of these estimates have been done, and also to address the concerns on unrealistic estimates. So the best answer is B. And what is our reference in PMBOK? We are referring to resource performance domain, which is on page 79. Then what does it say? It says the resource domain includes planning resources, estimating acquiring resources, and also leading the team, monitoring and also controlling resources. And what is the best mindset that you can use for this question? You need to understand the cause, which is very important. Review the estimation and support performance before punishment, which is very important. You don't just start by escalating to HR or even to project sponsor. So the best answer here is B, because accountable resources leadership investigates estimates and also capability issues before taking any punitive action, making B the best answer. Practice question number 44. A sponsor wants to use management reserve to fund a scope addition that provides little strategic value. What should the project manager do? Okay. So our problem statement is we have a sponsor who wants to use management reserves. So there are normally two kinds of reserves, management or contingents. Contingents is for the team, management is for the management funding. So to fund a scope addition, so they want to add a scope here that provides little value, strategic value. What should the project manager do? Okay. So A, use the reserve because the sponsor requested it. Yes, sponsor is an authority in a project, but it does not mean that you just follow whatever they are saying. So in this case, you don't start by just using the reserve. You need to do or get more information here. So making this one incorrect. Explain the purpose of reserves and evaluate the request through governance. I like the way they evaluate. You're getting more information. Okay, ask the team to absorb the work without budget. You don't just ask the team without understanding exactly what is required, okay? Making this one incorrect. Hide the cost in another work package. Ethics for PMs, you don't hide things. Everything must be transparent, making this one incorrect. So therefore, the best answer in this scenario is B. Okay, you need to explain the purpose of reserves. Evaluate the request through governance. So the level of this one was actually hard, all right? And our reference into PMBOK is on finance performance domain, which is on page 58. So what does it say? The finance domain covers financial planning, estimating cost, developing budgets, monitoring, and also controlling of project finance. So the best mindset that you can also apply even in your exam in this particular scenario is you need to protect financial controls, okay? And value-based decision. As we have seen from the question here, there's little value which is coming from this suggestion from the sponsor. So you must protect value-based decision, making B the best answer because the reserves and scope additions, they require governance, value analysis, and not just spending, making B the best answer. Practice question number 45. A new technology could reduce delivery time, but the team has limited experience with it. What should the project manager do? Okay. So our problem statement here is there's a new technology that could reduce delivery time, but the team, they've got limited experience with it. What should the project manager do? Now, A, force the technology into project immediately. In project management, don't ever force things. You must have the buy-in from the team. So forcing is not a good mindset, making this one incorrect. Assess risks, benefits, and capabilities and potential pilot options. I like this option. Then C, reject it without discussion. Don't just reject things in a project. And remember, this is going to reduce some delivery time. So rejecting does not make sense. You need to make an assessment first. All right. Then D, ask the vendor to make the decision alone. You don't hand over the project management responsibility to someone else. So you cannot just ask the vendor to do this, making this one incorrect. So B is the best answer in this scenario. You need to assess the risk. This is very important. Once you start assessing, you're getting more information. You also assess the benefits. You assess the team capabilities because the team has already reported that they've limited experience on that. Okay. And also you need to assess potential pilot options, which means you can run it before you go into full-fledged running of the project. So that's what you can do for this new technology. And what is our reference in PMBOK? Risk performance domain, which is 92 to 102. So what does the risk performance domain include? Risk performance includes planning risk management, okay, identifying the risk, also analyzing them, planning the responses, and also monitoring. And the best mindset that can be used here is to analyze uncertainty and also value before adopting a solution, which is very important. So the project manager here is supposed to analyze the risks also and also the value before adopting any solution, making B the best answer because the project manager should evaluate both opportunity and threat, which is the risk, before changing the approach, making B the best answer. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe button, and the notification button so that you are the first person to be notified each time a new video is uploaded on this channel. It will also help the channel to grow. It will also help the channel to produce more videos like this one. Practice question number 46. A regulatory agent changes reporting expectations during execution. The team can comply, but it will affect the schedule. What should the project manager do? Okay, so what is our problem statement? We have a regulatory agent here, okay, that changes reporting expectations during execution. So the reporting expectation is changing during execution. So which is this case, all right? So the team can comply with it, okay, but it will affect the schedule. So which means if this reporting changes during execution, they come in, they're going to affect schedule. So let's look at the answers now. Ignore the change because the baseline is approved. You don't ignore things in project management. Whether it's a risk, it's an issue, you confront it head on. So making this one incorrect answer. All right. Analyze the impact and process the required change through governance. This makes sense. You need to analyze the impact. Okay. Right. And then tell the agents the project will comply after closure. Don't postpone anything. All right. Don't kick the can. Don't kick the can along the road. Okay. So this one is makes it incorrect. Then also on D, we need to ask the sponsor to verbally approve over time on this. You don't go to the sponsor before you do the actual analysis, making this one incorrect answer. So the best answer here is B. You need to analyze. Okay, I like the word analyze. You need to analyze to get more information. The impact also, all right, and the process that is required to go through the change governance. So what is our reference in PMBOK? It's governance performance, which is also on page 10 to 37. Then mindset. What is the mindset that we are applying here? We need compliance changes. They require transparent impact analysis and also governance. Impact analysis is very important whenever there's something that is going to change. For example, here, they're changing the reporting expectations during execution. So there must be some proper analysis and also governance because this is also going to affect the schedule. Making B the best answer because external obligations should be assessed and formally incorporated into plans, making B the best answer. Practice question number 47. Two critical stakeholders disagree on the acceptance criteria for a deliverable. What should the project manager do? Okay. So what is our problem statement? There is a disagreement, okay, or conflict, if you want to call it, okay, on the acceptance criteria of a deliverable. What should the project manager do? A, Facilitate alignment and confirm criteria before delivery proceeds. Okay, I like the way to facilitate. You're bringing people together. All right, and then B, use the project manager's own criteria. The project manager is not a subject matter expert and is not even a user, so making this one incorrect. You can't ask the project manager to do that. Ask the team to finish and let the stakeholders decide later. You cannot postpone a problem. You need to confront it. So makes this answer incorrect. Exclude one stakeholder from the future reviews. You need to engage stakeholders throughout the project. It's one of the domains and it's one of the mindset that you should have. Engage stakeholders throughout the project, making this answer incorrect. Therefore, the best answer here is A. Okay. You need to facilitate alignment and confirm the criteria before delivery. Facilitate alignment is very important. So the stakeholders who are disagreeing, you bring them together, make them align on the criteria to be used for that deliverable. You should be able to proceed. What is a reference in a PM book? It's a scope performance, which is page 35. And the best mindset that you can also use to respond to this question is you need to align acceptance criteria before building or validating. This is very important. If you've got stakeholders who are disagreeing, you need to align them first and then you proceed. Making A the best answer because ambiguous acceptance criteria, they create rework and should be resolved collaboratively. Okay, so making A the best answer. Practice question number 48. A burn-up chart shows progress, okay? But users still say the product is not solving their problem. What should the project manager focus on? So what is our problem statement here? The product is not solving their problem. So users are saying the product is not solving their problems. So burn-up chart is just showing the items that have been progressed or that have been completed over certain sprints, all right? But in this case, the users, they still say the product is not solving their problems, all right? And the difficult level here is hard, all right? So let's go through the answers now. Increase reporting frequency only. This does not help the resolution of the problem, okay? So we can eliminate this one straight away. Revisit value and outcomes with the product owner and users. This makes sense because you want to collaborate with them. You want to identify exactly where this problem is coming from. Tell the users that the chat proves success. It's not all about success on the chat. It's about what the users are accepting and they're getting satisfied, making this one incorrect. Stop user feedback until the next release. User feedback is one of the mindsets. Continuous user feedback. Even in the manifesto of Agile, you're supposed to have continuous feedback with the users, making this one incorrect. So the best answer here is B, which is to revisit value, okay, outcomes with product owner. Product owner is the one who is going to make sure that whatever the requirements that have been defined, they are also solving the problem of the users and also include the users. And our reference here is value, which is on page 40 to 42. The best mindset here is progress is not the same as value. So you must make sure that you are providing value to the customers or to the users, not just making progress. Making B the best answer because output completion does not guarantee stakeholder value or business outcomes. Making B the best answer in this. If you want to understand more and to learn more about PMP mindset, I've created a full video on PMP mindset, about 30 mindset that you can go through. You can also watch it on my channel. I'll also leave a link in the description below. You can also download the 30 PMP mindset questions. I'll also leave a link in the description below. Right, practice question number 49. A team has high morale, but frequently bypasses quality checks to move faster. What should the project manager do? So we have got a team that is highly motivated, but they are bypassing quality checks so that they move faster, all right? So the level here is difficulty is hard. So let's go through the answers now. Reinforce quality expectations and integrate checks into the flow, okay? You can leave this one. Quality must be done throughout the project. Celebrate speed and remove quality checks. There's no need to produce something that is of poor quality. No one is going to accept it. So we eliminate this one straight away. C, ask the customer to find defects later. You don't postpone defects. It might be costly to resolve some of these defects in future than today, making this one incorrect answer. Add more status meetings only. This does not help the problem. We want something that is going to resolve the problem, making A the best answer in this scenario. You need to reinforce quality expectations and integrate checks into workflows. Quality must be done throughout the project. So you need to embed quality. This is what is our reference in our PM book. Then the best mindset here is empowerment must include accountability for quality. Quality is very important. You produce a quality product, making A the best answer, because team autonomy should not bypass. It should not bypass quality processes. Okay, that protect deliverables. All right, making A the best answer. Right. Practice question number 50. A vendor reports that a component will be late. The contract allows penalties, but the component is critical. What should the project manager do first? This is very important. So the level of difficulty here is hard, right? So what is our problem statement? A vendor reports that a component will be late. Okay, so something is going to be late here. The contract allows penalties, so the vendor is supposed to be penalized. But the component is critical, which means we need this component. Okay, let's see the answers now. Apply penalties immediately and stop communication. Don't be too harsh like this in a project. The first thing is to understand why it's late, so we need to eliminate this answer. B, assess schedule impact and collaborate on recovery options. Okay, this one makes sense. I like the word assess and collaborate. All right, option C, replace the vendor without analysis. You don't just fire people in a project. That's a wrong mindset. So we eliminate this one straight away. Hide the delay until the next steering committee. This is about ethics. Don't hide anything in a project. Make sure everything is transparent. So we eliminate this one, making B the best answer in this scenario. So B is the best answer. You need to assess and also collaborate. And what is our reference here in our PMP book? It's the schedule domain. And the best mindset that we can apply here is solve the delivery problem before focusing on blame. This is the last option to blame anyone in a project. Making B the best answer because immediate need is to understand the impact, recovery options for the critical path. Making B the best answer. If you want me to create more videos based on what we've gone through in this video, you can reach out to me or you can let me know in the comment section below.